late. You're going to have to hold it.
Don't make the seat uncomfortable for the lady that's got to sit there next.
It'll be warm.
I think we can go once we do our front court.
Do we stay and get the CDs?
No, you don't get this.
CDs. Hello and welcome to the Falcon Athletic Network. It's your #1 source for all things Daytona State athletics. I'm your host, Tom James, and today we're going out to the Diamond, and we'll get you caught up with the Daytona State baseball and softball teams. Later on in the show, we'll meet with Daytona State's new softball coach, Kelly Harrell, and two of her star players, Chloe Anna Merritt and Morgan Arcia. But first, we meet with the Falcons baseball coach, Tim Tuma, two of his star players, Jack Nagy, KG Parkhurst. Welcome to all of you guys. Appreciate you taking the time to stop in the studio tonight.
Thanks for having us tonight,
Absolutely.
Tom.
Well, baseball, of course, not in season right now, but that doesn't mean that your teams aren't training hard, practicing hard. You've always got these guys working. We caught up with you at practice a couple of weeks ago. We're going to take a look at some of the footage here. Walk us through what we're seeing and what you guys are kind of working on right now with the game a couple of months out from the season.
All right, it was a beautiful day in Daytona. We had an inner squad this day, so it allows us as coaches to evaluate the players, move them in different positions, and as coaches to not deal with the rules of the game. So we were able to stop the inner squad. Coach Juergens, a pitching coach, he can go out and talk to the pitchers and make adjustments. So it's a lot of the behind-the-scenes work that you don't see that hopefully goes into the start of the season and getting off to a good start and knowing what guys can do as we shut down this time of year, kind of go into a different mode. But that was right at the end of the fall season there.
Well, Coach, you're pretty famous for, shall we say, unconventional training exercises as a coach. Tell us a little bit about the, #1, the fall lifting that you do, and also the swimming routines that you have your players doing as well.
We try to get the guys this habit to get up early in the morning and get to work. So we try to swim or lift, but the one people talk about the most is the swimming. And that part of it is the treading water with the cinder block. So we don't start right there. We work up to that through the course of the fall.
Well, on top of the playing on the field during the game, your players also do a lot of work on your field, on the actual field, to keep it in good shape. Talk about a little bit of what you guys have them doing out there to keep that field in tip-top shape.
We're lucky. We've got a beautiful field. And all these guys, Jack, KG, and the rest of the crew, we all have specific jobs. So you come out, you do your job, we go to practice. When practice is over, they go out, do their jobs, and that's where the day ends, right there. And I think it's great for them to learn and take pride in what they come into. It's a beautiful field.
And you've got some new turf that's put out there. How does that impact your play?
It was old. We have brand new turf around home plate. It's blue. It says Daytona. And we also got new turf in the batting cages outside. So that helps with recruiting, and it gives these guys a chance to have a great place to go to work every day.
All right, I got to ask you guys, how do you feel about coaches' sort of unconventional practices, and how do you feel about that, and how do you enjoy those, or do you?
Well, I love them. Not gonna lie, I love them. It's a rush to wake up in the morning. It's nice to know that you're up and sometimes even in the pool with a cinder block over your head before most of the world is while they're just asleep and doing nothing. So it's a nice feeling.
KG, how about you? How does that kind of affect you, these unique ways as a player and as a person?
Like Jack said, it's peaceful in the morning and also exhilarating to wake up, know you're going to do something different every day. So you look forward to going to the weight room or the pool and look forward to the challenge that Coach Tuma throws at us.
Yeah. Well, Jack, you guys also do a lot of community service, participate in a lot of those great things that help the community, off the field. Tell us some of the things that you are involved with.
Well, one of my favorites that we have done last year and this year is the Sparks baseball event, where a lot of mentally challenged kids are out there, and of all ages, and they're all playing softball, and we go out there, and it's fun because you don't realize how much people look up to us, and you ask them, oh, what's your favorite team? Because of, say a Marlins hat on, you say, oh, you like the Marlins? Like, no, I like the Falcons. And you're like, all right, go Falcons. It's fun.
It's good to know you have that support out there in the community. Well, Jack, you and KG, and KG, I'll ask you, you both were all-conference players last year, all-stars as well. Certainly have a lot of things that you've accomplished already. What do you hope to improve on maybe from last year to this coming season?
I mean, you'd always like to win more games, right? This year as a team, I feel like we're close-knit, and we have the right guys coming back to build off of. So as long as the freshmen do their job, step up, and get some pitching going, I think we'll be all right.
Well, Coach, we're obviously talking to some of your current players right now. I have to ask you about one of your former players, and some of you may not know that Brian Kelly of the musical group Florida Georgia Line, a former pitcher with the Falcons back, I guess, about a decade ago. He has credited you with a lot of his work ethic in learning how to be more disciplined and those kinds of things. How do you feel when you hear about him saying that, and what are your memories there?
That's awful kind of him. Brian's a great guy, comes from a great family here in town. He was a 6'5" left-handed pitcher. I tried to get him out of high school. He chose Florida State. I kept pecking away at him and eventually got him here for a year. But it's tough. What we do is tough. And I'm sure Brian, like most of the guys, KG and Jack here tonight, you get some doubts. But he pushed through that. In the music business, it's tough. And he just said that helped him get through some other tough times in life ahead of him.
Well, not all of your players are going to go into careers in music or Hollywood, but they are going. You have several that are going to 4-year programs next year. Tell us a little bit about where some of those guys are headed. I'm
proud of that group, and it starts with the education piece. Jack's going to go to FIT. KG's going to go to Gardner-Webb. And that's one of the really neat things is when you go out and recruit these guys, they get here, they work, and all of a sudden some other colleges say, hey, we think you're going to be a great fit. So that's really rewarding for me to see these guys have a chance to move on. Jack, what about you? What are you looking forward to the most for the coming season?
Well, most of all, I'm looking forward to having fun, but I think everybody can agree that winning is fun. So obviously, like Katie said, get a lot more wins this year, and we'll have fun doing it, and hopefully get a Peace Conference this year. It's the plan.
Absolutely. And KG, I know it's a lot juggling baseball and all the practices and the games and the preparation with school and classes and homework. How are you able to juggle it all?
It starts with our academic advisors, Miss Cindy and Miss Allison. They do a great job putting us in the right classes, the right direction. And then the resources on campus with the library, academic support center, and writing center. That really, there's no reason to fail with all the resources around you.
Coach, do you keep on them pretty hard with making sure the grades are there as well as being on time for practice and keeping the batting average up?
We do. We check the grades every week, and that's really the key to the future. So the baseball's a blast, and these guys have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun doing this, but the baseball ends, and you got to go back to your education and go live the next 40 years of your life. So hopefully they look back at their time at Daytona and they loved it, come back to an alumni game, but what are you going to go out and do in life? And I know Jack wants to be a pilot, and we'll do that, and KG's going to be a lawyer, and they will do that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Your team consistently gets accolades for your overall team GPA. You know, I know you make sure, as you said, you help them focus on academics, but as All-American, the All-American award for that has got to be something to be proud of.
It is, because it's a tribe. There's a lot of people involved here at Daytona State to help these guys succeed. So it isn't me or it's the athletic director. It's Tom Labasso all the way through. KG mentioned Miss Cindy. Fabulous job. She deals with these guys every day. So I think it's just the end result of a lot of hard work by a lot of people.
KG, your thoughts on this upcoming season. How good do you think the Falcons can be as a team?
I think it goes back to each individual, what they believe they will do for themselves. You got to look within and know that you're good enough to be here and just go compete. And if we get good enough guys to compete, I think our ceiling's pretty high.
Jack, I mean, even though it's an intense sport and you guys want to win all the time, do you ever forget about just having fun and remembering that, you know, it's baseball, it's a fun game, you've been playing since you were a little kid? You ever lose that, or you always want to make sure you keep that element?
I try my hardest to always have fun, but baseball is a game of failure, and it'll humble you in a second. So the second you think that you're too good for the sport, the baseball gods they'll curse you real quick, and sometimes it makes it not so fun, but the guys around us always pick us up and kind of make sure we get back to it and have fun and stay focused.
And I asked KG about the responsibilities of, you know, the student end of it and the baseball. How do you juggle the whole thing and keep your grades up, because I know they're very good, and keep your game in order as well? Well,
usually the baseball part, I try to do it early in the morning. You know, no matter what time you got to wake up, you do that early. And, in the afternoons, that's when you kind of take care of the school. Once you go home from practice, coach always makes sure we're out in time. And, you know, there's always time to go home, eat dinner, and get your schoolwork done. And, you know, sometimes you don't have that much time. But even if you got to, you know, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get your work done, that's what you got to do, because you're not going to just not do it.
Fantastic, fantastic. You keep them disciplined. Well, the baseball team will be starting off the next season with a game against Florida State College of Jacksonville. That's coming up on January the 25th, still a couple of months away. And we are looking forward to that. Can't wait for baseball season. Love baseball. Love baseball. So thank you again, Coach Tuma, Jack Nagy, KG Parkhurst, for joining us today in the studio. Best of luck to all of you guys. And we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have a chance to meet with the Daytona State softball team. Stay with us on the Falcons Athletic Network.
My personal experience with the TV broadcasting program has been really amazing. We have really nice instructors and professors, and they teach everything really in depth.
My experience with the program has been phenomenal. I've been a cameraman, jib operator, and my next goal is to be a floor manager, and then I'm going to move up the food chain and become a director.
Great staff, it's a great faculty, and you always have help. There's never anyone left behind.
We actually get to produce live TV shows and work different positions, such as the switcher, who is airing different stuff, working the soundboard and audio, working the graphics computer and putting out the lower thirds and full screens. And then there's also just producing and making videos for the program.
The program's just been a great experience. I've gotten to do and learn more than I ever thought I could.
I think the best thing that I've done so far is having a much better gist of the overall process. When you're watching, TV, you start noticing things that you didn't necessarily notice before, but you have a much greater appreciation and understanding for what these people do, the diligence and the work that they put in to make it a go. But the best part about it is it never stops. It's something that you can continue to learn from the people above you.
We had do the live broadcasting for the volleyball games and the soccer games. I had the honors to do the 3-play. I also did the remote camera from a soccer game, and that was pretty scary because I was all on the top of the stadium. One thing I also learned about is teamwork, because you can't do it by yourself. You gotta have a group of people that's dedicated to do it, and we had the honor to have great people to work with us.
Welcome back to the Falcon Athletic Network. Once again, I'm your host, Tom James, and now joining me in the studio, we have Coach Kelly Harrell, Chloe Anna Merritt, and Morgan Arcia from the Falcons softball team. Welcome, you guys. Great to have all of you here. And of course, like the baseball team, you guys are currently in the off season, but still training hard, practicing hard. We have a little footage of one of your recent practices from the last couple of weeks. Walk us through it a little bit, and just, Coach, tell us a little bit about what you guys are working on at this stage. Still, a couple months out from your first game.
Sure. Well, right now we have a lot of versatility, and we're really just trying to see people in different positions. We've tried people different places on the corner, different people up the middle, some infielders who are in the outfield. So I think what you're seeing here is just kind of like a little bit of a live scrimmage situation, or this is Bethune-Cookman. And that was a really fun game. It was 10 innings, and we just got to really get the nerves out a little bit and some of that anxious energy. But I got to see our girls really step up and go full game speed finally.
Talk about the field. I know it's in great shape right now. A new field. Exciting to kind of play on the whole new field element.
And it's beautiful. It's well taken care of. They take good care of us here. And in fact, we just got some new seating put down last week, and the grass is beautiful. We stepped on it today for a little bit of conditioning, and it was real soft and bright and green. So it's a really great atmosphere and a really great feeling out there.
Very good. Well, this is your first season coaching here at Daytona State, so welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be
Daytona. How has the experience been so far? I know you're still kind of getting settled in and meeting the players and learning the whole thing.
I was just talking to these young ladies right here about how it's been like a speeding freight train that just hasn't slowed down, but it's been fun. It's always something new with this group. We've got some really talented, fun, spirited young women on this team that keep me on my toes. And I can't wait to just finally put it all together and crank out some games this spring.
Well, I know you came over from Campbell University. What made you choose to come to Daytona State College as a new step?
So actually, it's really crazy how it had all happened, but I have some roots here. So my mom was actually born in Daytona, and my grandmother as well. And even though I did not grow up here, my mom went to this school a long time ago, when they were still Daytona Beach Junior College. So I knew the area just from visiting, and it's beautiful. When I came on my interview, I got to meet everyone, and everybody was so kind and welcoming, and it's been so warm and inviting.
Great program, not a bad place to live either, but right by the beach.
Hard sell.
Yeah. Tell us about your coaching style, your methods. Would you say more traditional, unconventional, maybe a little bit of both?
I think I've had at least enough years to figure out certain things that I like and I like to implement, and certain things that I don't. However, I think I'm probably just somewhere in the middle. I try my best to be consistent, and I try my best to be fair, and I think that's the best thing for them, is they always know what to expect. At least I hope that they do. But it's somewhere in between demanding and hopefully a good balance of fun.
Yeah. Still a little ways away. Baseball or softball's not till next semester. Right. Still working hard in practice and all your preparation. What are you kind of focusing on right now, between now and that first game?
Well, honestly, the most concerning thing for me is going to be the team chemistry and making sure everybody is on the same page and everybody's understanding the way that we want to do things and executing. But, of course, we can be a little more specific, and I think we can get a little more, consistent with defense and hitting, but ultimately I'm really just concerned about making sure that all of these young women are on the same page, fighting for the same things, and feel supported by one another.
And I'll ask the players, I know it's still a couple of months away. Is it kind of make you antsy? I mean, you're out there practicing, you're ready for a game. I'm sure it's still a couple of months before you're able to actually play in real game action. Is it hard to wait that long? Chloe Ann, I'll start with you.
Yeah, because it's like the best time of the year. It's what you look forward to. It's what you worked for all winter, and you just want to go out there and do your best and represent the school and coach, because this is a big year for her too, being the new head coach, and we just all want to work together and do the best we can do.
And Morgan, how about you? In between now and the start of the season, I know it's a tough thing to wait on. What's that like for you, and how do you kind of pace yourself, to be in prime condition by the start of the year?
It's exciting, especially like the preparation that goes into it, like just seeing us progress during the fall, just with getting stronger in the weight room, the conditioning, and the practice. Just it's exciting to see where we've started and how we're going to be. So I'm excited to see how it turns out.
How are you guys gelling as a team right now? I mean, I know it's still early. You've only been in practice, for a few weeks, but how do you see that coming along?
I think it's coming along great, actually, because the chemistry is nothing like we've had before, especially in previous years. Me and Chloe were here last year. It's a complete 180. It's good to see, and I feel really great about it and confident in these girls especially. So,
Hey, Chloe, your thoughts on that same question? How are you guys getting along and working together as a team as you kind of meet some new faces, of course?
Well, it's always good to come into a new year with a lot of new freshmen. And our freshmen this year, they're so, they can do anything. We have so many people that can play outfield, infield, people that can catch and pitch. We just know we've got each other, and so knowing that helps us be able to not have to worry about if they're going to make that play, if they're going to catch the ball, if they're going to swing at the right pitches. We know each other's got each other.
Coach, you got to love to hear these comments of where they feel the confidence that they have.
I do. I'm glad I brought them with me.
What do you think you need to improve on, though, between now and when game time hits?
Chloe here is one of my pitchers, and I think we've still got some work to do, on the mound. And we're getting more and more workouts in, developing new pitches and establishing a system. So I do want to be better with pitching, though, when we get into spring.
And for you guys, and Chloe, I'll ask you this. What's your role as a sophomore now? You guys are both a couple of the leaders. What's your role in fostering, good chemistry among you guys and the other players?
I think a big thing when it comes to chemistry is trust. And for me, anytime I'm putting in extra work, I always think these reps will help me get better to help them get better. I'll be able to carry them if they're having a rough day. I'll pick them up if they need me. And that's my role as a sophomore, and I'm a third year because I'm a redshirt. I just really want them to know that I'm there for them and I've got them no matter what.
And Morgan, how about you? Do you find a tough balance between encouraging maybe the younger players, but also getting on them at times as well? Do you have to do a little of both?
Yes, we do. But, we take it as well from the freshmen. I think that's what is so great about a junior college is that there's no really, one up on each other. It's just we know we can say, we know each other with trust. So we can say what we feel in the moment and just be completely honest, and we can take it. So I think it's really good.
Do the relationships between the players, I guess, Coach, I'll start with you on this. Do the relationships between the players, does that go a long way in determining how the team plays, or does it matter if everybody's friends?
I always tell them you don't have to love hanging out with each other off the field, but you need to respect each other. And, these two do a great job of leading by example. They always come in, get their extra reps on their own. They, are getting it done in the classroom. But absolutely, the relationships are important. As long as you can look to the person who's next to you and say, I know you've been working hard, and I know you're laying out for me in a game and giving it all you've got. That's what it's really about.
And quickly, Chloe and Morgan. Chloe first, what are your plans for the future after this season?
For us, we don't really recruit early, so of course I want to continue on to university after this. So after spring and get stats in, we'll kind of figure out where my next home will be.
Very good. Morgan?
Exactly the same thing. I agree with her. I'm excited to see where it takes us, and I do want to move on and continue playing. So
sounds good.
Excited.
You guys have the talent to do it.
Thank you.
All right, well, the women's softball team will be starting the 2019 season on February the 5th in a game against Eastern Florida State College. Now let's take a look at how the other Falcons are doing here at Daytona State. Men's and women's basketball, of course, both right in the heat of their seasons right now. The men 8-0 overall, averaging nearly 99 points a game, 35% from the field, and averaging about 11 three-pointers a game. They're exciting to watch. And the women, too, 6-3 so far in the season, 72 points a game, about 25% from the field, and averaging nearly 6 three-pointers per game. And the men's and women's cross-country teams recently competed in the NJCAA National Championships, with the men coming in 28th, a score of 7:23, total time of 2:30, and an average time of 30:30. And the women coming in 24th overall with a score of 6:17, total time 1:51.46, and an average time of 22:22. Well, who else is playing? Let's take a look. The men's basketball team plays its next game right here at DSC, November the 30th against Snead State Community College. And on the same day, the Lady Falcons meet Palm Beach State College in the Florida JUCO Shootout. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. I want to again thank the baseball team, Coach Tim Tuma, Jack Nagy, KG Parkhost, and the softball team, Coach Kelly Harrell, Chloe Anna Merritt, and Morgan Arcia for joining us in the studio here tonight. Thank you, of course, our audience, for tuning in to the Falcon Athletics Network. Have a great night, everybody, and go Falcons.